गुरुरेव गतिः गुरुमेव भजे गुरुणैव सहास्मि नमो गुरवे न गुरोः परमं शिशुरस्मि गुरोर्मतिरस्ति गुरौ मम पाहि गुरो. Ram Ram Ram. So as I've stated, so today's class, actually I wanted to retake or revisit Chandas, considering there'll be some new students, but we will probably take up Chandas on a later time. So today, the thing that I have in mind is to do a little bit of Prabandha Rachana. So Prabandha Rachana was not touched in the previous batch. So probably we can discuss a little bit of Prabandha Rachana, and then if possible, we can take up a little bit of Chandas later. Is that fine? Okay. So Prabandha Rachana, actually it is not a very standard question as such, though the book Anuvada Pradipa 2 gives you some rules. That it's not exactly rules. They've told what is a good way to write a prabandha that is there in the initial stages. Then they've given two prabandhas of their own. One is Pratigna Paripalanam and second one is Sri Shankaracharya. After that, they've given you a list of around 15 topics that they have mentioned here. But what you should understand is, of course, I'm not sure based on the previous year question papers, but if any of you have gone through some previous year question papers, then please let me know if all the topics given were only from these 15. Okay, so the question papers I saw, like previously when the previous batch was preparing, the questions that they had asked me were mainly from this. So they had asked me about Satsangati, and they had asked me about one more thing was Tirtha Kshetram. So these two were what they had asked me. So I was thinking probably they've given, so usually you'll have 2 or 3 options, I'm not sure. So you'll have 2 or 3 topics given to you. I think one of them will surely be from these 15 plus to 17 topics. One of them will be. The other one may be from another totally different topic. So Prabandha is usually not a fixed question. It is again to test how good you are. One more point that I want to bring to your notice is, so if you see the prabandhas given by them, that is Pratigna Paripalanam or Sri Shankaracharya, so it is quite intimidating because it nearly comes up to around 2 pages of Anuvada Pradipa, and probably if you write it, it will come to like 2.5, 3 pages. So you should be careful, like, do you want to write such a big essay or not? Because for Thureeya, yes, it is advisable if you can give a content equivalent to what they have given. For example, for Sri Shankaracharya, they have given you 2 pages. So if you write it on your own, it will again come to 1.5, 2 pages. So you have to have the time to write Prabandha. So my advice is keep Prabandha and Patra to the end, because you'll have to spend time and at least get some ideas to start with. So that should be your last question that you attempt. But for Prabandha Rachana, again, so they've given you some, if not guidelines, they've given you some good aspects that you can follow to write Prabandha. Going through them, I found that most of them are usually what you already do. So they have asked you to give examples, they've asked you to use different prayogas. So don't always restrict to tatra gacchami, saphalam khadati. So all these basic 3-word, 4-word sentences, try to avoid and try to form long sentences with either kridantas or pratyayas or any of them. Please use them very well to create lengthier sentences, because that is what they've asked. So if you read through the prabandha that they have given, of course it's a very high level Sanskrit that they have used. I have to agree that. But if that is, I think it is difficult even to achieve even after you finish Pravesha. But still, at least it should be the place where you start looking for topics. So my first advice would be, right from your Prathama or even Balbodh, if you get, take all the books you have, and like for example, if you take Balbodh or Prathama books, they have these lessons like Dhenuhu, Vrisha, Dhenuhu, and then you have Varsha Kala, then you have Sandhya, Surya, Indu, all these small topics you have, wherein the entire topic is dedicated to just one topic. The entire lesson is dedicated to one topic. So probably that will be the best place to gather information. By information, I mean shlokas, because personally I feel that the easiest way to gather more information and give more content is by giving shlokas. Because once you learn a shloka, there is no way that you can, if you learn it very well, if you learn it by heart, then I think there is very less chance that you'll forget it. But whereas, let us say you prepare for an essay, like you prepare an essay in your mind and go, surely you'll either miss out a point or you'll write something wrong grammatically. So shlokas are probably one of the best sources to fill up your essay space. So if you read from Balbodh till probably Dvitiya, Tritiya, nearly every lesson, for example, Induhu, it will have one shloka at least in the beginning or in the end. And if you take Surya, for example, I think you have Udaye Savita Raktha Raktaschastamaye Tatha. So if you take that shloka, again, use it, because Two reasons. It may not exactly depend for that topic, but you can use it elsewhere as well. For example, Udaye Savita Raktha, that same example, for the given topics, I think you can use it easily for Satsangati. Satsangati is a very good place to use it because Suryodaya, first of all, yeah, Suryodaya is also there, and even for Satsangati. For example, Udaye Savita Raktha Raktashchastamaye Tatha Sampattosha Vipattocha Mahatam Ekarupata. If you read the shloka, then you can relate it to Satsangati, telling that so great people are like this, they are like Surya, which are equal in both highs and lows. Hence, being along with these people is a very good thing. So that is the way I want you to probably gather information. So shlokas is probably the first thing that you should start collecting for your prabandhas. Secondly, try to remember all the subhashitas, because usually, or let us say there are three topics that are given to you. One will be exactly from this. For example, if they give you Shivaji, unless you have prepared, you don't have any facts, because Shivaji, as they see, again, if you open the description of essays given by them, so they have told that essays are of three types: Vicharatmaka, Varnanatmaka, and Akhyanatmaka. So Akhyanatmaka is where it is difficult, because it will be based on the life stories of people. For example, Shivaji, Vidyaranya, Shankaracharya, all these people, if you want to write, you should have the basic facts and details of their life. So unless you know that, it is difficult to attempt these questions. Whereas Vicharanatmaka and Varnanatmaka are quite easy. For example, if they give you Satsangati, even if you don't know any particular example, you can try to beat around the bush and give sentences. So those are Varnanatmaka, they're descriptive. Or Vicharanatmaka, imaginative. For example, if they give you, let us say, if they give you Pralaya Kala, just for example, Pralaya Kala. Of course, you don't know what will happen in Pralaya. But still, if they give you that example, you can imagine, you are yourself taking the example, for example, from Varahavadara or from Matsyavatara, you can just give your own creation, so that those types of questions are easier to answer. And the advantage is, most of the Subhashitas can be used for Varnanatmakas. For example, Satsangati, or example, Ramasya Guna, Ramasya Rajadharma. All these, if you give, all these, if they ask you, you can use very good statements like these. For example, Paropakara. So Paropakara, if they give, you have a lot of shlokas and a lot of subhashitas that you can collect and write it. And just by giving the subhashita, giving an example or explaining it a little, will give you a lot of points to jot down. So my first suggestion would be to collect all the matter, all these small lessons from Balbodh up till Dvitiya, giving narrations of one particular topic. Second, collect the shlokas of each of them. Thirdly, try to go through all the subhashitas that you have come across till now. That is till Tritiya, Thureeya. Keep all the subhashitas in mind, because most of them are very important. I'll just give you some key subhashitas that you can look into. That probably, if you go through this video again, you can search them out, or even if you don't find it, you can ask me. I'll send you the subhashitas. For example, Bharatadesha. The most famous thing is probably Ratnakara Dhautapadam Himalaya Kiritini Brahmarajashri Ratnadhyam Vande Bharata Mataram. This is a very important shloka that you can probably consider. And one more thing is, one more shloka is probably from Eka Chakranataka, written by Nadhalli Ranganath Sharma. There you have the Sutadhara's words. Girivana Jalapushpaihi Sarvata Shobhamana Mruduvaha Pavamana Pavani Ratnagarbha Shubha Sharita Vidhatri Dharma Shantyo Savitri Mama Hridayam Upaste Sokhyadatri Prajana. So this is again describing the beauty, natural beauty, scenic beauty of Bharatadesha. And always, so the topic, like whatever be the topic, if let us say you have only one particular subhashita in mind, if you're clever enough, you can always divert the given topic towards it. For example, I'll tell you, there is for example, I'll tell you one shloka which you can use it for two places. Ayodhya, Mathura, Maya, Kashi, Kanchi, Hyavantika, Puri, Dwaravati, Chaiva, Sapteta, Mokshadaika. So these are some 7 pilgrim places which will help you attain moksha. So this is, let us say, the only shloka I know about Bharatadesha. Then, once I start Bharatadesha, rather than going into history, rather than going into Ramayana, Mahabharata, if I start with pilgrim places, let us say, Bharataha Deva Bhumihi, Atra Bhavaha Mandiraha Santi, Bharatiyaha Vividha Devatan Pujayanti, Atahatra Kechana Vaishnavaha, Kechana Shaivaha Bhavanti. So I start in that way and then tell that Atra Mokshadaikaha Sapta Kshetran, Tirtha Kshetrani Santi, Te Ayodhya Mathura Maya. So again, the flow and how you add points depends on what is your thought process. If you know, for example, let us say, I only know Paropakaraya Satam Vibhutaya. So I know just this sukti. How do I divert this? I can tell भारतदेशे राम इत्यादि महान् पुरुषाः अत्र जन्मं प्राप्तवन्तः। ते परोपकारार्थमेव अत्र अत्र परोपकारार्थमेव अत्र आसन्। अत एव सुभाषितकारः वदति परोपकारार्थम् इदं शरीरं. So you can always divert. Of course, once you divert, you should always maintain the flow. So always, before you start writing your prabandha, first make a note of all the possible subhashitas that you want to use and all the possible points. Whichever gives more weightage. For example, if your points are more important, then probably you can leave the subhashitas, but you'll have to write more. Whereas if you have very relevant subhashitas that are coming into this, but a little diverted, divert the essay right from the beginning and take it through that line. So that is probably one of the biggest advantages you as a writer of the Prabandha has, because there is no fixed. For example, if they give you Bharata Desha, they have not told you if you should write about Ganita Shastra, like about Aryabhata, or if you should write about Vijnana, or if you should write about Itihasa, Purana, Kavya. They have not mentioned anything. It is a very open topic. Such open topics are actually very easy to attack and very easy to write. So you should probably try to answer these types of questions. Because, for example, if they give you Shivaji or Vidyaranya, even though you know the facts, Shivaji's life had probably some 4 to 5 important facts. His fight with some Sher Khan or some people, 4 or 5 people you have, and the way he ruled. Other than this, you have very less description. You have to rate your own points. You should probably describe his battles in your own words, which probably might become difficult. So the other point that I would like to tell is try to answer questions which are open-ended. For example, they have given you Suryodaya. Suryodaya also is very limited because you can probably describe a lot about Surya, you can probably describe about Grahana, you can bring in all those topics, but again, you should restrict yourself to Suryodaya, only Suryodaya, even not how Surya travels entire day. Of course, here again, there is a very good shloka. Arambha gurvi kshayini kramena lagvi pura vridhimati cha paschat dinasya purvardha paradha pinna chayeva maitri khala sajjanana. So again, this describes how the maitri or the friendship or the sangati, the people along with khala and sajjanas are based on the shadow that is cast by the sun. So again, when they give you Suryodaya, it's not you should rate only the scientific points, like when Surya comes, he rises in the east, and then it is red in the color. So you may not only rate to that. You can also tell that just considering Suryodaya as the concept, Subhashitakaras have written several great Subhashitas. For example, Arambha Gurvi Kshayini Kramena and Udaye Savita Rakta Raktaschastamaye Tatha. So in this way, you have to divert the topic towards, rather than just the descriptive and the factual points, try to divert it to descriptive points. Take it from Akhyayanatmaka Prabandha to Varnanatmaka Prabandha. For example, Vidyaranya, let us say you have no other option, but you have only Vidyaranya. I hope that some points will be there. For example, he established Vijayanagara Samrajya under the rule of Hakka and Bukka. Then once you tell that, try to divert it, telling that he was a very good pious person, and Paropakara Satam Vibhutaya. He did all these tasks in order to help the people get a very good king. So divert it in that way. So 3 points: gather as much material as possible, gather as much subhashitas as possible, and finally try to divert the topic in the way that you are comfortable with. Another difficult topic to deal with would be Ganarajyotsava. Ganatantrotsava or Ganarajyotsava. That will be a little difficult because you'll have to explain all the technical terms. For example, independence, Swatantra, you can tell, but Ganarajyotsava is not Swatantra Dinotsava. So you should be able to tell constitution, Samvidhana. If you forget the word Samvidhana, then your entire topic itself does not have the base anymore. So if you forget the important points and Sanskrit words for that particular topic, then it is the weightage for the entire topic has lost its value. So always, whenever before starting any prabandha, try to jot down the points that you know. See if those points are exactly what the question paper asks you. Because you should not rate everything and finally think, okay, I've written Swatantrotsava, but the question is Ganarajyotsava. So always jot down the points clearly. Make sure that you have ample amount of points. Because see, if you write 1 page also, it's enough. But let us say you have time. Why not go and write 2 pages and show that you have the capacity to write 2 pages of essay? Okay, so it's not restricted. So no one has told you that it should be 2 pages. But still, if you write more and if you give, of course, more in the sense not repeating or trying to digress from the topic. If within the topic, if you can give a lot more information, then surely you should try and do it. That's why try to complete the entire paper as soon as possible, because I think the second paper is quite easy. If you finish Chandas, one question is done. If you finish Alankara, another question is done. Then probably you'll have 3 to 4 lakaras that you'll have to use, and then one Vibhakti Viparya question will be there. So if you finish all that quite early, then you'll have a lot of ample time to tackle Patra Lekhana as well as Prabandha. Patra Lekhana also, it's straightforward. There can only be 2 ways of asking questions. If you're prepared for one each, then you can just change the matter based on the topic. If it's Pituhu Pratipatram, just Pujya Pitaha, Matuhu Pratipatram, Pujya Mataha. So that Patra Lekhana is also very straightforward and it does not digress a lot. Whereas Prabandha is where they actually test your true knowledge in Sanskrit. So you should try concentrating on, because you need time for this. For Chandas, if you know the Lakshana Shloka, yes, the question is done. Unless you know the Lakshana Shloka, yes, that question is answerable. But here, if you think and if you give some good amount of thought, you can surely write a very good essay. So based on that, I think, so Ganatantrotsava, if I'm telling you from the topics given behind the book, that if you are preparing, prepare particularly for these prabandhas, because they can be difficult if you are sitting in the exam and thinking. Ganatantrotsava, Ganeshotsava. Of course, Ganeshotsava can be, tricky, cannot be tricky. Again, it depends on how much you know about Ganeshotsava and how good you can describe the story of Ganeshotsava, if you can. Then Vidyaranya, Shivaji, Varshakalaha, Kaveri Nadi. So these 6 to 7 topics can be difficult to tackle, because unless you know where Kaveri Nadi originates and where she joins the ocean and what are the cities it passes through, then you will not have that much of material to start your essay itself with. Okay, so that one you should be careful about. But I think the most easiest among what is given here is Bharata Desha is one of the easiest. Satsangati, a little difficult, but once you can get some examples and some shlokas, along with you, then yes. For example, Jadyam Dhiyo Harati Sinchati Vachi Satyam, Manonatim Dishati Papamapa Karoti, Chetaf Prasadayati Dikshu Tanoti Kirtim, Satsangati Kathaya Kim Na Karoti Pumsam. So this is a very apt shloka, like directly on the point of Satsangati itself. So if you know such 4-5 shlokas, yes, you're good to go. Satsangati is easy. Samskrita Bhashayaha Mahatyam is probably one of the easiest shlokas. Sorry, easiest essays. Bhasha Mukhya Madhura Divya Girvana Bharati, Tasyam Hi Kavyam Madhuram Tatrapcha Subhashitam. Then if you know that song, Surasaraswathi Vishwamanognya Lalita Hridya Ramaniya Amritavani Samskrita Bhasha Naiva Krishna Nashakathena. So if you know that also, yes, you're there. Samskriti Samskrita Shrita, some very important quotes if you know. And again, if you know that Surasaraswathi full song, then first stanza is describing about Sanskrit, second stanza describes about Ramayana, third stanza describes about Mahabharata, and fourth stanza describes about Kalidasa's works. So the 9th question is Mahabharata. So let us say the Surasaraswathi complete shloka, complete song. You can use the third stanza as the starting point for your Mahabharata. And of course, Mahabharata, probably one of the prominent shlokas that you'll have to rate is Dharmecha, Arthecha, Kamecha, Mokshecha, Bharatashrabha, Yadi Hastya Tadanyatra, Yanni Hasya Tat Kvachita. So this is probably one of the important shlokas. And Bharata Panchamo Veda. Mahabharata is considered to be the Panchama Veda. So that also you can use. So that is probably where Mahabharata you can get a lot of points. Of course, Mahabharata never go into the details, because once you start telling the story, it will never end. Mahabharata is like that. If you start with Chantanu, then you will, your even one page will not come till Pandu. So describe the importance of Mahabharata, how many cantos how many parvas it has, how many shlokas it has, who is the karta, what is the story about, and what are the important granthas. So in Mahabharata itself, you have Bhagavad Gita that comes in Bhishma Parva, and you have Vishnu Sahasranama that comes in probably Anushasana Parva. So all these, and Vidura Niti is also part of this Mahabharata. So these important points, if you can catch hold of it, then you can write a very beautiful essay. So Mahabharata, Samskrita Bhashayaha Mahatyam is probably one of the most versatile, because if 10 people read Samskrita Bhashayaha Mahatvam, 10 beautiful and 10 totally different essays can come. And because each one has a different perspective for Sanskrit. One can tell it's a mathematical language, one can tell it's a grammatical language, one can talk about Panini, one can talk about Kavya, one can talk about literature. So the topics can vary based on your interest. So that is a very easy topic to deal with. Tirtha Kshetra also is actually a very interesting and easy topic. unless, for example, if you know Jyotirlinga, Saurashtre, Somanatham, Cha, Sri Shaile, Mallikarjunam, if you know those Jyotirlingas, then probably you can take one entire paragraph to explain the importance of Jyotirlingas and the 12 Jyotirlingas. Then again, Ayodhya, Mathura, Maya, you can tell about 7 Mokshadayitas. Then along with this, you can tell that in the south, Kartikeya, Shiva are all the prominent deities who are worshipped. In the north, it is usually Shiva, for example, any Devis, Parvati, all of them are worshipped majorly in the north. And like that, you can give some prominent. For example, Tirupati is dedicated to Venkateshwara. So you can denote, again, reroute the entire Prabandha based on how well and what you know about Tirtha Kshetras. So if your knowledge of particular, let us say you have one particular Tirtha Kshetra which you are confident about, then you can tell that among the various Tirtha Kshetras that are present, one of the most pleasing temple for me. So don't make it generalized. Don't tell the best temple in India is that, because it may not be, and it is a perspective, and it's your own perspective. So tell that among the various Tirtha Kshetras, the most beautiful place that I have visited is this, and explain in detail about that one particular Tirtha Kshetra that you know. So that is how Tirtha Kshetra can become a very easy topic to deal. Then you have Vidyaranya. Again, Vidyaranya Shivaji is quite difficult. Mahabharata, again, it's a very nice topic. You can explain it in multiple ways. You can explain it from the dharma, adharma concept, from good and bad. And you can bring in paropakara, you can bring in dana. For example, Karna, if you take one example. So Karna is, so you can probably pick some important characters and explain what are the characteristics. So Karna is known for dana, Yudhishthira is known for dharma, and Arjuna is known for his skill, Bhima is known for his strength. So you can tell all these points, and if you know one or two subhashitas for that particular quality, you can include that as well. Suryodaya, again, quite a challenging topic if you don't know where to start and where to end. Varsha Kala, again, since Varsha Kala is a very difficult, it's a very limited information that you have. If you want further information, probably you can go through, of course, it's quite a detour, but probably if you have some information or some knowledge about Valmiki Ramayana, Varsha Kala and Valmiki Ramayana is considered one of the best descriptions of Varsha Kala, wherein Rama is dejected on the loss of Sita, and he's waiting for Sugriva. So Sugriva is the king, and as Sugriva delays giving the help that he has promised Rama, at that point of time Varsha Kala arises, and Rama is still grieved. At that point of time, there are one or two very famous subhashitas, so one or two very famous slokas from Ramayana, which you can probably take and keep it in mind and then use it. So Varsha Kala, if you don't have the right details, it can be a challenging task. Kaveri Nadi, again, quite a difficult task if you don't know where it flows, how it flows, like from where it starts, where it ends, the cities which flows through. And if you know any important temples that are on the banks of this, very good, you can write that. And then if you know any shlokas, for example, Gange Yamune Chaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Kaveri Jalesin Sanithim Kuru. So you can probably start with that. Granthalaya, again, a very open-ended topic. You can start with Granthalaya as a topic. Try to digress a little bit based on, let us say, in the Granthalaya, my favorite book is something, and give a few details. Try to add some content by giving details of one particular book, but again, come back to Granthalaya at the end. Parisaraha, again, a very open-ended topic. You can talk about Parisara Malinya, or you can tell how Parisara is as is. So again, quite this thing, of course, you can always tell Bhavanti Namras Taramah Phalagamaihi Navam Bubir Dhura Vilambino Khanaha Anudhata Satpurusha Samruddhivi Swabhava Evesha Paropakarana. So here, the Subhashitakara is telling about Paropakara Vritti, the quality of Paropakara, by using all these natural elements. So it's telling that fruits, trees and bearing fruits become heavy and they become namras, so they come down. And even nadis, they flow because to support life. So in all these ways, you can tell that Parisara is always involved in Paropakara. So you can try to include all these good qualities of Parisara and Subhashitas and try to give that as a very good Prabandha. Vidyarthi Jivanam, again, Vidyarthi Jivanam can be easy, can be difficult based on what you know. Vidyarthi va tyajet vidya, Sukarthi va tyajet vidya, Vidyarthi va tyajet sukam. Again, a very famous Subhashita, Vidya dadati vinayam, Vinyatyati patatam, patatva dharmapnoti, dhanadharma tata sukham. So again, try to, Vidyarthi Jivana, try to take it either telling that what a Vidyarthi should do, or what is actually Vidyarthi's life. So he should study, he should work hard, he should, go to school every day. Of course, it may be not very open-ended, but you can try to add some of these open, detailed information to make it a little more informative and add more content. So these are the 15 plus, of course, 2 that they have already given. So if you see, for example, if you see Pratigna Paripalanam, they have taken exactly the shlokas, they have exactly taken it from Ramayana, Mahabharata, and all these granthas. So quite difficult if it, of course, it is now difficult to start reading Mahabharata and learning the shlokas. But if you know any similar this thing, of course, the thing is now actually if you go through my YouTube videos, I've for Sukti Ratnani, the best place to understand these Sukti Ratnani will be from Tritiya Sukti Ratnani, because they're taken from very good places. So those Sukti Ratnanis you can probably keep in mind, because they can be used in several places. And please try to keep that in mind and use it again and again. And of course, practice is the only way that I can think of for getting very good at Prabandha. So whenever you get time, at least make points. If you may not, I would suggest you not to write Prabandhas completely, but at least take some random topic. For example, if you open any previous question papers, so if there are any topics outside these 15 topics, try to note it down and immediately try to start making points. Let us say the number of points are good enough, it means that yes, you have enough knowledge. But let us say you don't have that amount of points, then probably you can search for more points or search for more subhashitas in that field. So in this way, I think you can easily tackle Prabandha, and I think it should be a very good start to again start with Balbodh itself, to go through previous question papers and make a note of all the Prabandha topics outside these 15. Make a note of everything and start making points for each of them. Okay, so do you have any doubts that you want to ask?
In the beginning, can you write in simple sentences?
Yeah, as a starting point, yes, you can always try with simple sentences, but still, please don't restrict to 3 to 4 word sentences. That's all I would tell you. Try to use larger sentences with auxiliary clause. For example, instead of telling saha karyam akarot saha tatra gatavan, instead of telling that saha karyam krutva tatra gatavan. So try to add 2-3 sentences, combine 2-3 sentences. But of course, try to start basic. But if you have time, that is a good approach. Or else I would suggest you to start from the beginning itself with some compound sentences.
Okay.
And it's always advisable to start your essay, if you are aware of any subhashitas. Yeah, a nice way to start an essay is by giving a quote or by giving a subhashita. So that's why I told you to look for subhashitas, because that will be a very good start, and even the person who is evaluating will be impressed that you know some good subhashitas related to the topic.
Anna, can you just give an example of how to write exactly?
For example, okay, let me take the most versatile topic that I can conjure as of now is probably Sanskrit Bhashayaha Mahatmyam. So I'll start off with telling Bhasha Sumukhya Mudra Divya Girvana Bharati Tasyam hi Kavyam Madram Tatrapisha Subhashitam. So Jagati Bhavaha Bhashaha Santi Tatra Atyantam Ramaniyam Akarshaniyam Bhasha Eva Sanskrita Bhasha. Sanskrita Bhasha न केवलं काव्यनाटकेषु प्रसिद्ध काव्यनाटकानाम् आगरः वर्तते, सा भाषा विज्ञानस्य गणितस्य इतरे विषयाणाम् अपि आगरः वर्तते. संस्कृतभाषायाः रचना कदा अभवत् इति न केनापि ज्ञातं. तत् जगति अत्यन्तं प्राचीनभाषा इति सर्वैः परिगण्यते. विदुषाः अपि एतत् मतं स्वीकुर्वन्ति. अत्र सहस्राधिकाः अगणिताः ग्रन्थाः वर्तते. तत्र दीपशिखा इव प्राज्वल्यमानाः कवयः एते सन्ति: कालिदासः, भारविः, भासः, वाल्मीकिः, व्यासः इत्यादयः. कालिदासस्य संस्कृतभाषायाः आदिकाव्यं रामायणं. रामायणस्य कर्ता वाल्मीकिः. परम् अत्र कविकुलगुरुः इति प्रख्यातः एकः कविः कालिदासः. कालिदासः स्वजीवने द्वौ महाकाव्यौ, 2 खण्डकाव्यौ, 3 नाटकानि च रचितवान्. ते अत्यन्तं प्रसिद्धं, रमणीयम् इति अपि कथ्यते. तस्य नाटकम् अभिज्ञानशाकुन्तलं वर्णयन् एकः सुभाषितकारः वदति: काव्येषु नाटकं रम्यं तत्र शाकुन्तलं वरं तत्रापि चतुष्टोङ्कः तत्र श्लोकचतुष्टयः इति. अतः तस्य पाण्डित्यं वीक्ष्य एव ते सर्वे तस्मै कविकुलगुरुः इति नामाङ्कितं दत्तवन्तः। तस्य परमां ख्यातिं वदति अन्यः एकः सुभाषितः, पुरा कवीनां गणना प्रसंगे कनिष्ठिकाधिष्ठित कालिदासः अद्यापि तत्तुल्य कवेरभावः अनामिका सार्थवती बभूव इति। न केवलं कालिदासस्य ग्रन्थाः, अत्र तु गणितविषये आर्यभटस्य आर्यभटीयम् इति ग्रन्थः अपि अत्यन्तं प्रसिद्धं। लीलावती इति एकः अन्यः ग्रन्थः वर्तते। अत्र गणितस्य अत्यन्त रमणीय वर्णनं दत्तमस्ति। विज्ञानविषये तु अत्र वैमानिकविषये, रसायनशास्त्रविषये, भूगोलशास्त्रविषये अपि च बहवः आकरग्रन्थाः अद्यापि अत्यन्त प्रसिद्धाः ग्रन्थाः वर्तन्ते। संस्कृतः इदानीं तु भारतदेशे, न तु केवलं भारतदेशे, इतरदेशेषु अपि वर्तते। इतरदेशाः संस्कृतभाषायाः माहात्म्यं परिगणय्य स्व पाठ्यभागे अपि संस्कृतम् अङ्गीकुर्वन्ति। परम् इदानीं भारतदेशे संस्कृतस्य माहात्म्यं किञ्चित् अधोमुखः वर्तते। तत्र कारणम् आङ्ग्लभाषा अपि च सामान्यभाषायाः प्रभावेण, आङ्ग्लभाषा प्रभावेण संस्कृतमाध्यमः पाठ्यभागेषु केवलम् अतिलघुरूपतया एव वर्तते। अतः संस्कृतभाषायाः उज्जीवनार्थं बहवः संघाः, बहवः नेतारः तस्य विषये अत्यन्तं प्रामुख्यं दत्तवन्तः सन्ति। संस्कृतस्य पुनरुज्जीवनार्थम् इदानीमपि बहवः कवयः वर्तन्ते। लक्ष्मणसूरी इत्यादि महोदयाः इत्यादि नूतनकवयः अपि उत्तमानि ग्रन्थानि रचितवन्तः। अत्र संस्कृते तु अध्यात्मविषये बहवः उत्तमग्रन्थाः लभ्यन्ते। शङ्कराचार्याणां भजगोविन्दं, भारतीतीर्थमहास्वामिनः दशावतारस्तोत्रम् इत्यादयः श्लोकाः अत्र अत्यन्तं रमणीयरूपतया वर्णितम् अस्ति। विविधभाषासु गद्यभागम् उत्तमतया प्रयुज्यन्ते, परं पद्यभागं न तावत् वर्तते। परं संस्कृतभाषायां गद्य, पद्य, चम्पू इति त्रिविधाः अपि अति उत्तमतया लिखितं वर्तन्ते। अतः संस्कृतभाषायाः संरक्षणम्, उज्जीवनं च अस्माभिः सर्वदा कर्तव्यं। संस्कृतिः संस्कृताश्रिता इति एका प्रसिद्धा उक्तिः वर्तते। तदनुसारेण एव भारतीयसंस्कृति मूलकेन एव संस्कृतभाषायाः उज्जीवनम् अस्माभिः कर्तव्यं। तस्य अत्यन्तम् अधिकं प्रयत्नः अस्माभिः कर्तव्यम्। अतः जयतु संस्कृतं, जयतु मनुकुलम्. So in this way you can, again, what I did here was I diverted the entire topic. So I know some shlokas about Kalidasa. So I initially diverted the topic a little bit towards Kalidasa and told a little bit about him because I know his granthas, I know some subhashitas based on his granthas. But then I again had to come back because it is not talking about Samskrita bhashayam Kalidasasya mahatmyam. I have told Samskrita bhashayah mahatmyam. So I have to again, I went to Kalidasa because it gave me some amount of information that I could add. But then once that was complete, I again had to come back from Kalidasa to Sanskrita. So in this way you can start and end. Your starting and conclusion, your beginning and the conclusion should be what the topic has asked you. But then in the middle, the body can deviate a little based on how well versed you are. So yeah, so this is how probably you should try to target your Prabandha Rachana as well. So again, practice is the only way that I think would help you. So please start making points, as I have told you, make points for each and every topic, and then go back to the topic to get more information if you feel that the matter that you have is not enough. Gurureva gatihi gurumeva gurunaiva sahasmino gurave na guroh paramam shishurasmi gururmatirasthi guru mama pa guru.
Ram Ram.
Ram Ram.